Okay, good afternoon, North American partners, and welcome to the Halo Smart Sender version 2.0 release. We all were looking forward to doing this at ISC West in Vegas, but I'm glad that everyone's able to join us today. For this webinar, all attendees will be muted for the entire webinar, but we want to get your questions, so please send them in. You could send them via the question feature in the webinar, or email us separately to info@IP Video Corp. We're going to send a follow-up email to everybody on the attendees list today with all the questions and answers from us. So with that, I'd also like to welcome members of the press. For any interview requests that you have, please email rcadis@ipvideocorp.com. And again, thank you everybody for joining. On behalf of IP Video, I want to wish everyone all well during this crisis, and I hope everybody's doing well. As far as today's presenters, we have David Antar, who's the president of IP Video Corp. We have Frank Giacobino, who's the vice president of product development. We have Jack Plunkett, our CTO. We have Joseph Pangaro, our global director of training services. And today, your host, myself, Rick Cadis, VP of sales and marketing. And again, thank you everybody for joining. Now, our goal for today is to show everybody that Halo is moving from primarily a vape and THC detector to a critical security device. And with that, I'd like to pass it over to David Antar, president of IP Video Corp.
Thank you, Rick. Pleasure to have everybody here. And we're really impressed with the number of people that have attended today. We had close to 700 attendees. So it's very impressive. And I appreciate everybody taking their time today to join us to listen to some of the important announcements that we had. First of all, I want to just reiterate Rick's concern for your families and friends as we all deal with the COVID-19 crisis. We're all going to come out of this stronger. You know, we're all going through a lot, but I do believe we're tough and we can all come through this stronger. I also want to just congratulate our Halo team, our development team. I'm really proud of the work that they've done. They really haven't skipped a beat during this development and innovation cycle, and they just continue to amaze us with some of the output that they do. Halo, since inception, has won 17 awards. And we're actually very honored that we're winning an additional 5 awards that were supposed to be announced at ISC West. They'll hopefully be announced in July if ISC West does take place. And we're going to be doing a press release on those very shortly. But we are very excited to continue to win the awards for Halo being such an innovative product into the industry. What I'd like to do is take a moment and review some of the features of version 1.53, which is the current version that's out. If we just flip to the next slide, we can tell you a few things about the current version of Halo. So Halo right now has gotten a lot of fame and all the awards based on its capabilities as a vape detector for detecting in areas of privacy, vape or vape with THC. But there's quite a few other things that are in the current version, including doing advanced smoke detection. So it's able to determine that there's smoke in an area before a smoke detector would go off. On top of that, it does all types of other detections, including carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, methane, propane, natural gas detection, chemical detection like ammonia and alcohol and other products that it can detect in chemicals. And then on top of that, it has the ability to do temperature, humidity, air pressure, and light levels, which are important as we'll talk about a little bit later. And then it currently does audio analytics to be able to analyze louder noises such as bullying or things that might take place and alert you to things that may not be normal. So as an example, somebody falling or getting hurt in a stairway, it would pick up that and be able to trigger an alert. With that, I want to turn over to start announcing our first new feature, Frank Giacobino, who's our Vice President of Operations, and he's going to introduce the first new feature that we want to talk about.
Thank you, David. Version 2.0 is another revolutionary step for IP Video's Halo Smart Sensor. Up until now, Halo has been safeguarding the health of our children by alerting school administrators to the illicit use of e-cigarettes within school bathrooms, hallways, and classrooms. With this release, Halo is able to safeguard both the health and safety of not only our children in school, but any area, especially areas of privacy, where true safety is a concern. Individuals under duress can now utilize a spoken keyword to send instant alerts to security for help in privacy or other areas to get security personnel's immediate attention. Now a child in their dorm room, a hotel housekeeper, a patient under duress, a student in a hazing incident, or your elderly parent living by themselves can alert security to an attack or emergency situation in real time by shouting a keyword like Halo Help. The alerts are automatically sent to security for immediate response. To help diffuse situations, the alerts also trigger an inaudible message that an emergency has been declared and security has been notified. The audio is not being recorded or sent to the cloud so that total privacy is maintained. Jack Plunkett, IPVideo's CTO, will fill you in on the other amazing features available in the software release Halo 2.0.
Thank you very much, Frank. We at IPVideo are very, very excited to have this version 2.0 release. And the spoken keyword is certainly a very exciting feature. But I'm going to outline a couple of other exciting features I think you'll all enjoy. The next one is going to be gunshot detection. As a comprehensive security and emergency response device, active shooter technology is now included as part of Halo Smart Sensor's audio analytics to help keep individuals, campuses, and businesses safer. When a gunshot is detected, the active shooter detection system within Halo instantly alerts users to the location of shots and simultaneously sends this information by SMS text message, email, or via other third-party alert systems such as video management systems. To help diffuse situations, the alerts also trigger an audible message that an emergency has been declared and security has been notified. At this time, we are going to show you a short 2-minute and 30-second video clip highlighting all of Halo's new security features.
Emergency declared, security notified. Emergency declared, security notified. Emergency declared, security notified. Emergency declared, security notified.
Larry? What are you doing?
Emergency declared, security notified. Emergency declared, security notified. Emergency declared, security notified. Emergency declared, security notified.
Welcome back. We certainly hope that you enjoyed the short video. Another new feature is the addition of machine learning capabilities to establish audible level normalcies to be used to catch indicators of possible violence. The enhanced analytics learns the normal audio levels and allows security professionals to receive an alert when these levels exceed a threshold above normal values. We've also added a new feature that we're very excited about that we're calling masking. We've identified that creative students are spraying aerosols like body spray while they exhale vape in an effort to disguise or mask the known vaping signatures. Individuals who are trying to mask their vaping activity with aerosols will now be flagged with the unique masking signature identifier, which has been added to our Halo library. Halo now simultaneously monitors for the existence of vape combined with CO2 and VOC. Another new component of the version 2.0 release is the Halo Device Manager, otherwise known as HDM. The new Halo Device Manager tool will give you the ability to push updates and manage multiple Halo devices from a single administration login. This powerful tool will save significant deployment time for IT and security personnel, as it allows for mass firmware and threshold updates. Additionally, with version 2.0, we have added Wi-Fi to the Halo Smart Sensor. If you cannot provide a home run connection to your MDF or IDF, Halo now supports Wi-Fi. Power will still need to be provided to Halo via a PoE injector. Halo Smart Sensor now supports IPv6. Halo Smart Sensor and the Halo support tools now allow smart sensors to be installed on an IPv6 network. Halo also now supports HTTPS, the secure version of HTTP, as a protocol method to be used between a web browser and the Halo web server. And a nice new feature that's been added in version 2.0 is the scheduler. The scheduler allows end users to define when Halo should be monitoring for events. For example, only monitoring for events when students are expected in the building, thus ignoring any events generated by cleaning or maintenance personnel after hours. Or it can be used to ignore loud repetitive noises like the period start and period end bells in schools. We have a couple of disclaimers as far as the version 2.0 release is concerned. Understand that the gunshot is single authentication only. Only one spoken keyword will be provided in this particular release. All the information has been updated on the website, including our frequently asked questions, cut sheets, and guides to have all the updates for the version 2 features. But most importantly, we're going to need your real-world performance feedback, particularly on any ranges or interruptions. Now, probably the most exciting thing for me to be able to tell you today is that all these new features are included in the 2.0 firmware at no additional cost whatsoever. For the original $12.95 investment that you have made in your particular Halo Smart Sensor, you are now expanding well past a vape and THC detector and creating a security device for privacy areas, a gunshot detector, an air quality monitor, an environmental monitor, and a chemical detector, all in one smart sensor. For those of you who are familiar with the Halo GUI, you will identify the addition of the new sensors to our visualization dashboard, including gunshot, help, and masking. Users will be able to define thresholds for each of these individual new sensors. Of course, knowing that the Halo Smart Sensor can now identify gunshots and be able to listen in for keywords spoken to the device, it acts as much more of a deterrent device than ever before. Of course, all the new thresholds that have been added to the device itself can send notifications to all the typical endpoints, such as SMS, email, and to VMS. And all these new sensors can generate reports and display trending. At this time in the presentation, I'd like to hand it back to our President and CEO, David Antar.
Thank you, Jack. That was very exciting, and hopefully everybody's impressed with some of the new developments that we're getting into Halo, and that there's no additional cost for it, which is even more important to them. With that, I want to talk about a few of the things about Halo right now. There's 12 sensors in Halo. It's capturing over 1 million data points per day, which is pretty amazing. And that information can be collected and then generated into reports that can be beneficial to customers. And that may become part of an RMR model that we're working on to help to make our dealers develop an RMR model around Halo. So we're going to be working and announcing that in the not too distant future. On top of that, we also have the lowest false alarm rate in the industry. What we're able to do, as Jack explained before, create signatures and masking signatures. So by creating those signatures, we're able to eliminate false alarms, and we get such positive feedback from all the customers that have installed these. Sometimes it takes a little bit of tweaking, and that's when you need to bring us in on occasion to be able to eliminate any false alarms, but the device itself, when properly configured, should deliver practically 0 false alarms, which gives people confidence in the product, which is great. The big thing with Halo is that vaping is only 5 to 10% of the market. And with that, I want to discuss some of the other markets that Halo is appropriate for. Education is great for the areas of privacy, but that's only just scratching the surface, where every hallway, stairway, classroom, you start to see the volume of Halos that can go into districts. We have school districts we're talking to right now about putting these every 12 feet of every hallway in their facilities because of all the environmental sensing technologies and the other features that are in Halo. The hotel or hospitality industry is another huge area. We're piloting with several hotels right now, and they can go into rooms and be able to detect if somebody's vaping or smoking in the room, which very often costs the hotel quite a bit of money to not be able to use that room while they clean it for the next person to be able to rent it. But in addition to that, it can actually tell you if somebody leaves their TV blasting, disturbing others in the room. It'll send an announcement to them. If glass broke, or a gunshot went off, as in what happened in Las Vegas, they could pinpoint exactly where that is taking place in a hotel. And we also can notify on occupancy based on the light sensors and some of the other sensors on the device, in addition to when the bathrooms are cleaned and the room is cleaned, because of the chemicals that get released from the cleaning chemicals that will trigger an alarm into Halo. So we actually can alert them when the room's been cleaned, which is pretty powerful. Into healthcare, now more than ever, healthcare is looking for additional technology to help them deal with COVID-19. One of the critical things that Halo does is measure air pressure. And when you put Halo into an area of isolation, it can measure the negative pressure that has to be in an area of isolation. And when you need to have a sterile area, such as an operating room, it can measure the positive air pressure that has to be maintained there and give reporting on the continuity of those readings for those areas. So Halo plays a big role into healthcare, in addition to a whole bunch of other applications into patient rooms and a whole bunch of other things that are very exciting with it. Then in manufacturing, a lot of applications there, everything from chemical releases that may take place in a manufacturing facility to monitoring the areas of privacy of people using THC or other narcotics or drugs that could be picked up by Halo that could affect their work performance, especially when they're using heavy equipment or things that can injure themselves or others. And in the commercial world, we're actually talking to quite a few commercial property owners about putting Halo in to be able to offer some of the best quality air of other real estate in the region. And by doing that, we can measure all the air quality over time and be able to deliver reports to them on a regular basis that they are truly delivering the best air quality. So with that, I want to talk about some of the roadmap. And it's a very exciting roadmap that's coming around for Halo. Aside from all the things we've just announced, we're also going to be announcing the optional cloud portal, which will be released at ISE West, assuming it takes place in July, but it'll be released regardless. Additional keywords is also going to be major. Right now, there's just the one keyword that's allowable in the system, but we will be enhancing the product to be able to handle additional keywords. We have a huge number of third-party integrations that you're going to see a little bit later in the presentation, but we're also going to be including remote sensors that can be communicating back through Bluetooth or Wi-Fi to Halo. a new user interface. It's going to be really exciting to continue to enhance the usability of the product. An air quality index rating, which is going to be measuring outdoor air quality from data that we get, and then be comparing it to your indoor air quality, so you'll be able to actually get an AQI. And then a really big one is the BACnet integration. We've talked to quite a few HVAC organizations that are starting to bring Halo into communications with a building management system. And BACnet's an important part. That's the language that all the building management systems use. And that BACnet integration is going to allow us to be able to control a lot of the building management systems that are there. It will truly become a true IoT platform for managing all of these smart buildings that they're developing. Cybersecurity is first and foremost to us. Halo is an incredibly cyber secure product, but we're going to continue to enhance our cybersecurity hardening of the device. And then we're going to be adding glass break to it, which is also another one of the audio analytics that we're working on. And then there's a whole bunch of other really cool stuff, but I can't tell you about it because it's still patent pending. We're working with the lawyers right now and getting some of the patents filed on some of the other very, very cool features that are really, really going to impress you. We're really excited about where that's going. With that, I want to turn this over to Joe Pangaro. And Joe runs our division called True Security Design that provides active shooter training, de-escalation training, and anti-vaping training. We're now making that available to all of our dealers. So please, contact Joe for additional information. And Joe's going to give you a quick presentation on how this can be sold by you or resold by you as a service to your customers.
Thank you, David. Hello, everybody. I'm happy to be here. This is really exciting part of what we're doing here. True Security Design, our purpose is safety and security. So when we see a beautiful piece of equipment like the Halo, I tried to create some training around some of the IP video products, and especially when it comes to vaping, we know how serious that has become with kids in school, young adults, people are getting sick and dying. So we created a series of programs set up for school administrators, a program also for parents, and a program for students. The reality of vaping is that most people really don't understand completely what it is and how it hurts you. There's been instances of people getting very serious lung disease as well as dying. The vapor products do explode on occasion, which can cause fires in schools. Can injure people. There's quite a few injuries out there that you can see when you go to look around for it. So these programs we put together to provide each one of those groups a unique presentation so that the parents will understand the dangers of what's going on, what's facing their kids, and they can help advocate for their kids to maybe stop vaping if they are, or don't get started if they haven't. And then there's a program for the students to teach them the realities of vaping. It's not a scared straight kind of a program. It's going straight forward and telling them the real dangers of vaping and what they could be doing to themselves. So this is an important package of training that's available. The next thing is we created a program on how to develop policy. This is happening more and more and more. Whenever you take any new equipment or change in how you do something, there has to be a policy, and the policy has to be a well-written policy with a clear message. It has to tell you why you created this policy and its purpose. An important thing also is that the policy must be able to pass court scrutiny. So myself and an attorney that I work with on a lot of policy writing, who's an expert in school types of policy programs, put this policy together so that schools or businesses or any company that takes a Halo type device or has some kind of concern for that can have this policy in place that tells them, hey, this is why we have the device. Here's how we're going to use it. Here's what we do when it goes off. All right, that's an important feature to have. And we help the schools develop their policy. So that's available to them. Another thing we do is help them conduct proper investigations. When an electronic alert like a Halo or a verbal alert, somebody says, hey, somebody's in the bathroom, or John Smith has vaping products, or he's vaping in the bathroom, you have to understand how to respond properly. A lot of people are assigned to be investigators, whether it's in a company or in a school, and they don't have a lot of background in conducting proper investigations. So we go to a program that teaches them how to make sure that they have a consistent methodology of conducting their investigations, a solid investigative protocol, and that they're all properly trained. So that, again, if there ever is any litigation, you did everything the right way. So this is a good package of programs. Now, one of the things that helps us with our programs is the AV Fusion system. This is a recording system that was originally created to record law enforcement interviews, but it has so many more potentials available for any situation where you need to record an interview. As we go forward, we understand that if it isn't on video, people will say it didn't happen. So the AV Fusion system, I've seen a lot of them. I come from law enforcement, and many of them, they don't sync up the video with the words, and it can look just not right when you see the playback. What people will say when they see playback that's not perfect is, what did you do to the video? What are you trying to hide? So the AV Fusion system, one of the best things about it is that it perfectly syncs the voice and the picture together. Another great feature that I find absolutely tremendous is that during the interview, you can bookmark certain parts of that interview. So say you're having a meeting with parents and a student over a vaping incident, and the student tells you where the vape came from, or what other students have it, or whatever. You can bookmark that part of the interview and get back to it immediately. So you can use that to guide yourself through this interview, because sometimes they're very, very long. And one of the best features here is that it is really the ease of use of this system. It's intuitive. Anyone can learn it. You can learn all the features, and it really presents a tremendous product when you're done. As far as investigations, ensuring everyone's rights are protected is one of the reasons you want to video record and audio record your interviews. You want to make sure they're conducted fairly and properly. And if you have to refer to the police, you want a professional product to turn over to them. When you're recording meetings with parents and students, you want to make sure that they're properly documented and recorded for evidentiary reasons, and as well as insurance, that a clear record is available of the interview or the meeting if needed for disciplinary hearings, law enforcement referrals, or anything else. It's a proven fact that once people know they're being recorded, they behave better. For example, we're hearing from a lot of schools that their parental meetings are now going much calmer with the introduction of AV Fusion, because people know they're being recorded and they behave more appropriately in the interview. The third thing we see there is lecture capture. This is a great feature of this product, and we mention it here because it's a value add-on. For the modern teaching environments, the clear picture and sound of the professor or the teacher and the lessons they're presenting is hugely important. We're seeing now during this crisis how many schools have gone to online training. Well, being able to record that professor or that teacher and their lesson in a perfect, in the best possible way you can, so you can play it later, is extremely important. And schools are using this as a value add, because they can use grant money for security, they can use grant money for teaching. There's lots of different options that you can go to pick up the AV Fusion system. It is really a great combination. We want to combine the human element with technology, and that's where these training programs come in, and all of the things that we're offering here at True Security Design. So with that, I'll pass it back to Rick.
Thank you, Joe. I just wanted to give an update on our U.S. distribution. Hopefully everyone knows IP video products are 100% through the channel. We're not direct. We go 100% through our authorized distribution partners. Now, everyone knows that we had Ingram and Source IT, but we'd like to announce that we've had 2 new additions in March to the IP video family, and that's ScanSource and ADI. So now we have 4 distribution partners that are authorized that everyone can go through. So we're very excited about that. Another thing that we're very excited about is that our third-party integrations are growing daily. So our partner ecosystem continues to grow almost on a daily basis. We now have integrations with major partners across VMS, access control, networking, PoE lighting, audio video, IP telephony, emergency management, and also cloud applications. And we expect that with the new features and the roadmap integrations like BACnet and RTSP, to greatly expand the partner integrations with Halo going forward. So we're very excited about that. So as we've been going through, I wanted to talk about some next steps. The version download version 2.0 isn't available right now. We expect to come out in the next couple weeks, and we're going to send everyone on this email when they can download that version. So familiarize yourself when you get it. Update, with the updated documents and settings. Upgrade prior clients to the latest firmware version so they could take advantage of all the new features. Reach out to your support teams if you have any questions. Also reach out to your local IP video sales teams to coordinate any sales efforts that you have. And if any resellers are on the call today, if you're not authorized right now, go to start the process, become authorized, take advantage of the benefits. And you can see right here, just go to ipvideocorp.com, apply now, and you could become an authorized reseller with us. Now, one of the benefits that we're going to try to do to help support you guys' sales efforts is we're going to have an end user customer webinar. We're going to do on April 29th. So we're going to blast that out and hopefully drive leads to you through the different territories. But we'd also ask that you promote it to your end user customers as well. And we'll send everyone the link so you can start to do that. And that will be for April 29th, same time, 3 p.m. And after this event, look for our upcoming webinars. We're going to do one on the AV Fusion product that Joe mentioned. We're going to do one on ViewScan and also on Joe's True Security Design Services. All right, so with that, as we've been sitting here, folks have been sending in questions and answers, and I'm going to do my best to try to direct them to the right people. We have a few minutes here still available. So our first question from Steve, this one I'm going to send to you, Frank. Will there be a deep dive on setting thresholds for the new features?
That's a good question, Rick. We're going to have the updated manuals on our website shortly, and your IP video sales team will be conducting training webinars to cover all the new features and how to set them up.
Thank you, Frank. Next question we got is from Joseph. And this one I'll probably send to you, David. Joseph is asking, are you experiencing any supply chain issues due to the coronavirus?
That's also a good question. And we've been very, very fortunate to have planned ahead. And we did order excessive amount of raw materials to be able to continue to manufacture Halos. And we're able to currently have all of our distributors with significant amounts of stock right now. We do have concerns as we get into the summer and fall because some of the customers that we're talking to have huge potential orders that could bring down supplies, and we're not 100% sure we can bring all the raw materials, and we continue to build. We will get through it, but we're just worried that there may be some backlog at certain points in time. So one of the suggestions that we do have is really just ordering whatever you know you need for customer projects. We really strongly recommend that this time. And then we're going to continue to manufacture at the fastest pace we can, as long as we have raw material available to us. We're hoping this will, start to normalize within the next month to two. And as it does, there's going to be a little lag in raw materials coming back to us, but we're sure that things will get back to normal by mid to end of summer. And we'll be continuing to manufacture around the clock to produce product for all of our dealers.
And now I know I could feel Steve Rice kicking me from Colorado. So if I didn't mention that, all of our distribution partners have stock on hand, so we should be okay. Next question is from Ben. This should be for you, Joe. The question is, how do you handle students who may use the emergency code word in a non-emergency? So some punk that's trying to cause trouble.
Right, and you have to imagine that young people may do a thing like that. They do pull fire alarms, they do other things that are inappropriate. So what we suggest is that you update your policy, make sure you have a good policy, and handle it the same as you would if a student did pull a fire alarm or open an emergency door. Keep with the thing in mind that if they do activate an emergency like that, you could have the police responding at high speed, you could have the school going into lockdown. This is something that could potentially be a criminal act by these students. So having good, solid policy that covers that and making sure the kids know that up front is probably the best thing to do, and that's what we recommend.
Great, thank you, Joe. Our next question is from William. And Jack, I'm going to send this one over to you. So William's asking, how many different guns will the device detect?
Great question, Rick. The Halo has been trained to be able to detect all calibers, whether that come from long guns or handguns. What we did identify during testing, though, is that some blanks were not accurately detected. So if firing blanks in an effort to test the gunshot detection, it may require some level adjustments. But one thing to take note of is that Halo will not trigger on something like a door slamming or a book being dropped on the floor. The training that it has been exposed to will completely disregard any noises other than gunshots.
Great, thank you, Jack. All right, our next question comes in from Janice. Frank, I'm gonna send this one over to you. Janice is asking, the keyword is using a microphone, and she just wants to confirm that, it's for personal security, that you're not recording a person's voice.
Yeah, absolutely not. The device is not recording any of the conversations it monitors. It only looks for the keyword to be said, and then it sends out an event immediately to notify security personnel of an emergency. So we're very aware of people's civil liberty concerns and want to ensure everybody that we are maintaining their privacy and there is no recording going on.
Great, thank you, Frank. All right, our next question is from Peter, and Jack, I'm gonna come back to you. Peter's asking, what's the distance range for the keyword to be heard?
Okay, so that is going to depend on the volume of the spoken word of the person. But right now we are advising on the same 144 square foot space that we would typically recommend for vaping.
Okay, thank you, Jack. All right, our next question is from Troy. All right, this actually should be two of you guys. I'm gonna ask two of you to answer. Joe, I'm gonna ask you from a policy standpoint, and then Jack from a technical standpoint. So Troy is asking, is it recommended for all to know the keyword, or do you want to maintain a secret keyword? And Joe, I'll start with you.
Sure, and that's a really great question. This is really up to the end user and their situation. For the public use, the best case would be for all the users would know the keyword. So everyone that would go in a public place would know this is what they would yell if they had some kind of an emergency. For staff protection type of things, panic room type of things, it would be best to maintain that as a secret keyword that only the staff would know, so that you can maintain that level of controlling how they're going to get help.
And Jack, anything from a technical standpoint?
Sure, Rick. Currently, we've opted to use a generic Halo help keyword in our marketing efforts, just in case we want to maintain secrecy as far as our keywords are concerned. So we will be releasing the actual programmed keyword, but it will not be published at this time.
Okay, thanks, Jack. So basically, we'll send that to everybody, so all our resellers will know what that keyword is, and then it's up to the end users whether they want to make it public or not. Just want to confirm that's what we're saying.
That's correct, Rick.
All right, thank you, Jack.
Certainly.
Our next question comes from Brent. And Frank, I'm going to send this over to you. It's technical again. Brent's asking, what if the person is calling for help is male or female? Does that cause a problem? And then what if they have an accent or if they speak with a foreign language?
All right, that's an excellent question. At this time, the keywords that we're using are English language only, and accents are going to be done on an individual basis. So we would recommend, because this is a new product, that you test the device on with individuals using the keyword to see if there are any issues with somebody with an accent. And if there is, to notify us so that we can look at it and see how we can make improvements on that keyword. We use a deep learning technology to generate the keywords. So there is no issue whether it's a male person speaking, a female person speaking, or children over the age of 7. They'll all, when they say the keyword, will generate an emergency event.
Great, thanks, Frank. And then it looks like we have time for one more question. Any other questions that folks ask, or if you want to just send them into info@IPVideo, we'll make sure that everyone on the list receives them all, and we'll also incorporate them into the frequently asked questions. So our last one comes from Samantha. And David, I'll have you, as the president, I'll have you answer this last one. Samantha's asking, how do you integrate Halo with other systems to do like emergency lockdowns or emergency response when something like a gunshot goes off?
Rick, that's an easy one. We designed Halo from the ground up to be an open platform. And as you can see from the integrations page, we have quite a few integration partners already. And this is what's also going to drive additional revenue to our reseller partners by being able to use our API guides to integrate into third-party systems that you do. And we also want feedback from our dealers of other products you want us to integrate to. We have a waiting list already of companies that have come to us, and we're currently integrating them as quick as we can. But the more we hear from you of ones that are important to you, our dealers, which are most important to us, we want to make sure those get priority to get the integration. And again, that will drive additional revenues for you in that integration. And then the other way to integrate things is we do have 2 built-in relays on Halo. And you can do a very easy down and dirty connection to be able to do some quick integrations just using those relays. The important place is just to check our website all the time. We do have our integration guides there, and that will help you be able to figure out what are your best routes, what's already exists, and what you have to recommend to us for additional integrations.
Great, thank you, David. So I think that will end the Q&A session for today, but we did have one special video. One of our compliments actually of our Southeast rep firm, HW Pico, Mandy King is making the most of her coronavirus work from home time. She doesn't know we're about to play this, but I thought it would be great, and I really appreciate the efforts that she put in testing out the new gunshot features. So with that, I want to thank everyone and wish everyone that they stay safe and healthy, and that we get through this quickly and we're all driving revenue again. So with that, I'll end with Mandy's fun video here.
We're on our test site. We're going to start with our 38 Special Plus P. We have our server being recorded through the computer so you can see when the gunshot is actually detected on the system itself. Here we go.